What's up guys, David Land here, and today we are taking a look at the Team Hot Wheels Pro Racing Michael Andretti 1997 Swift 007C from the 1998 first edition of Hot Wheels Pro Racing. This is a very nostalgic car for me for several reasons. Number one, as a kid, the kart series was like the greatest thing ever and continues to be that. Just watch a race on eBay, just pick any and watch it, and you will see what I'm talking about. But for me, I was a kid growing up, and in 1997, 1998, 1999, 2000, all those years was when my love for the sport of auto racing really was cemented. And stuff like Michael Andretti's black Newman Haas racing car was just one of those images that stuck with me and allowed me to become a major racing fan. I remember seeing these cars in like the Target stores. I know they were in Kmart as well. Shout out to the group on Facebook, Kart Fans, when I posted this photo. Lots of great information is always shared there. If you're interested in learning about kart, go on Kart Fans because that's a great place to learn a lot about the history of the sport. But these were in major retail stores, and that's something that's almost unprecedented these days for IndyCar merchandise or merchandise that isn't NASCAR Authentics. That's pretty much the one thing that's left from any major racing series in major retail stores anymore. So this is kind of a throwback to those days, and I can't wait to show this off because there's not a lot of information about these. These aren't particularly rare. They were produced in very high quantities from what I understand, comparable to the NASCARs, also in the pro racing line. But they don't come up very much, and not a lot of people talk about them, so I'm doing that. I'll be taking this car out of its box and showing off the full thing. So let's take a look at the box. By the way, that's an official 1997 PPG Kart IndyCar World Series Spotter's Guide, and the car I'm reviewing is right there. I picked that up at Gearheads in Indianapolis. Great place. So you can tell the box is very dusty, but there's the car. It's actually a Swift body, which is the chassis that Michael Andretti ran in 1997. Actually won the very first race out in the brand new chassis with Swift at Homestead. You get a trading card. We'll take a look at that. The box advertises that it's specifically designed for the adult collector. It has a die-cast body and chassis, detailed interior, and deluxe rubber, quote-unquote, tires. And just to point out, die-cast manufacturers these days, this is how you do a box for racing. Look how bold and interesting this looks. Like, I just love the artwork. I mean, it's just amazing. It looks great. Why, oh why do packages have to look boring these days? But anyway, I digress. You've got the kart logo down here. And it is the official license. It is an officially licensed product of Kart, our championship auto racing teams, aka Kart. If you didn't know what that acronym stands for, now you do. It's a collector's edition, first edition, 1998. This was stuff they put on boxes back then because the die-cast industry was like huge, and they had to like convince people to buy stuff. So here's some stats about Michael Andretti. It wasn't the 007C, it was the 007I, excuse me. The engine was a Ford Cosworth XD. Of course, Michael was is still from Nazareth, PA. That's not a real autograph. I already looked it up, but it's very convincing because it's got that little mark there. But it's not a real autograph. All these boxes had a fake autograph on the back. Collect all the 1998 Hot Wheels Pro racing cars. These sold separately, subject to availability. Kart logo again, all the kart mumbo jumbo. And then you've got kart.com, which I think goes to some like spam virus site now, so I wouldn't suggest going to kart.com unless you've got a very good firewall. Now, it also shows, it also says, take a ride on the edge of your seat. Watch Kyle Petty in the Hot Wheels stock car on the racetrack. Go Team Hot Wheels Racing. Yeah, that was real successful, wasn't it? But just take a look at this. The 1998 Kart World Series schedule. First off, look how many races there are, and look how far the season goes. It goes from March to November, and every single month has a race in it. Wow, what a concept. My goodness. It's amazing how much better the schedules were back then. And of course, the quotes on the front of the package are alluding to the fact that it's synthetic rubber material. But yeah, I mean, it's so weird to think about how much things have changed, because you could seriously walk into a Kmart or a Target. I'm not sure about Walmart. Folks who remember those years better than I do will have to comment in the comments. I don't know if these were available in Walmart, but they were definitely available in Target and definitely Kmart, because of course they were sponsors of CART at that point. But it was amazing that you could walk in those places and buy IndyCars, NHRA, NASCAR. I mean, all the teams from NASCAR. I mean, it was just a very interesting era to grow up in, because you could just get cars of everything. World of Outlaws too. My goodness, you could get World of Outlaws cars. So I'm going to stop rambling on. Let's get this car out of its box, and I'm going to be very careful because I want to save this box because it's pretty and I like it. So let's be careful, and then we'll show this car out of its box. So it's out of its box, finally, and right off the bat, I'm so impressed with the quality of the molding, the design of this model. There are some errors on the actual deco of the car, which I'll go over, but my goodness, did they capture the look of the Swift 007i. This was probably, in my opinion, there's an upper echelon of the most beautiful Indy cars to ever grace the track. Certainly the Reynards and the Lolas of the era, and some probably like a Wildcat from like the 80s. Cars like that. As far as I'm concerned, personally in my top 5 or in my list of the best looking Indy cars of all time, I think the Swift is probably number 1. It kind of varies between this and the Eagle 987 chassis, which ironically raced each other in 1999. But man, if you had to say IndyCar, like somebody picture an IndyCar in your head, this would probably be about as close as you're gonna get. It just screams IndyCar. Everything about it, just the way it's shaped, the low slung look of it. It's just perfect. There's not a bunch of aero stuff all over it. There's no bumpers. There's no airbox. You know, I'm just going to go on that rant because that hasn't been beaten. That horse hasn't been beaten to a pulp yet. Okay, so before we go over the bad stuff on this car, just talking about the good stuff, because good Lord, is this, like the model itself, fantastic. I mean, just fantastic. Ugh. I'm so happy to purchase this, by the way, and then we'll go over some finer details. But first, we'll take a look at this upper deck trading card. Now, unfortunately, the box was so dusty that the dust actually came through the plastic and kind of damaged the card a little bit. However, this is a really cool card. The front is not all that inspired, but the back is freaking awesome. Look at this. You know, I don't really talk about it much, but back in the day when I was a kid, I used to collect trading cards, and my God, they need to, if they had come up with some sort of CART trading card set or some like Tops packs or upper deck this is, I mean, this is really, really cool. I mean, look how, I mean, well, then again, I mean, there's the real life Swift. I mean, is that perfect or what? That's in super speedway trim. Of course, the car we have is in road and street and or short oval. I haven't really decided which version of the car it is, but look at that thing. My God. All right. So Michael, in 1997, I believe this is what we're looking at, he made 17 starts with 1 win, 6 top 5s, 8 top 10s, no poles, and 2,000 miles completed, and he only ranked 8th in the championship. So there's the card that comes with it. Very cool. So let's take a closer look at the Swift, and I need to point out some things about it. First of all, the Kmart logos on the side. The K is not in the right font. I'm not really sure what font they were going for there, but it's not the right one. The Kmart looks like it's like anorexic or something. It's like tiny. It's like stick and bone. Not sure what was going on there. Also on the real car, you have some yellow striping underneath the Havoline logo. That's not something I'm really going to complain about, but it's worth pointing out. And yeah, absolutely on the front wing, that Kmart logo, still what on earth? It's like a skinny Kmart logo, and it's not slanted at all, which is strange. Here's all the sponsors on the nose of the car. You can read them yourself. I'm not going to read sponsors. And again, they messed up the Kmart logos. First of all, they should be the other way around because they couldn't be read this way on the onboard camera. But on the real car, they were white with red trim, and on this car, they're red with white trim. Unfortunate. Let's go look at the side of the car here. Just the details, amazing on this thing. Just look at the pop-off valve is modeled. You've got the little dorsal fin, and that's how you do a dorsal fin, by the way. If you want a good-looking dorsal fin, there you go. Just a little tiny one, just to give you a little bit of straight line speed, or straight line stability. Let's see if we can zoom in on Michael Andretti's name there. Yeah, but that says Michael Andretti, and I think Andretti Autosport actually uses that style still. They use the Newman Haas style. You got the kart logo as well, PPG. Dinky, don't know what Dinky is. RC Cola on the detailing here, which is just beautiful, by the way. How Swift did their little flick in front of the rear wheels. I think they had the most beautiful solution to that. You've got something interesting, at least to me, because I'm a Kmart fanatic. You've got Super Kmart on the rear wing. Fun fact, there are only 2 of those left in the entire world, 2 Super Kmart stores. And they will probably be closed within the next couple years. So if you live near Super Kmart, which is, I think they're all on the east side of Ohio, you should go to them. There's one in Warren, Ohio that I went to last year, which is still open. And then here's the other big problem on the rear wing. You've got the wonky Kmart logo, which is in the wrong position. This should actually be a Havoline logo, and then you should have a white element here on the rear wing with Kmart in red. They got that right, but it should be a white element here with Kmart, and I don't know why they didn't do that. There's nothing printed on the back of the wing. That should also be white with Kmart, but whatever. The Goodyear tires look fantastic. Maybe a little too big printing on the front tires, but again, I can't complain. And just look at the detail on this thing. They even modeled these little wings in front of the air inlets on the side pods, which I think are just the sexiest thing ever. I just love that design feature of 90s Indy cars. Just looks fantastic. Let's take a look at the bottom of the car. And as you can see, it says 1997 Mattel Inc. Hot Wheels. You've actually got screws here that you can actually unscrew. So perhaps if I could ever get a bunch of these cheap, I'd make some customs, because I'd love a full grid of all the Swifts that ever raced in kart competition. So let's put it down for now, and I'll zoom in again. Professional video making. It's all happening. It's so professional right now, folks. But just look at this thing. It's just fantastic, and I'm so glad to have picked this up. And thank you guys so much for listening to me rant about. I mean, look, even the wheels. The wheels are just fantastic as well. But thank you guys so much for letting me rant about kart for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or however long this video is. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you're into the kart stuff as much as I am, because kart was a big part of my childhood. And if it was a big part of yours, or a big part of your adulthood, or you're just discovering kart or IndyCar racing or my channel in general, you'll probably want to stick around, because we have a lot of fun here. We talk a lot of racing, and hopefully these videos are entertaining to you racing fans. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. One more thing before we go, I'd like to definitely tribute this video to Carl Haas, who was part of the ownership of Newman Haas Racing, of which the car we just reviewed was a part of that stable. Obviously, Carl Haas was a huge part of racing. He owned teams in NASCAR, Can-Am, IndyCar, kart, pretty much anything you can imagine he owned teams in, and just his contribution to racing as a sport is just massive. including these 2 cars that you see right here, and several more. So many drivers affected. Thank you, Carl Haas, for all you did, and may you rest in peace.